We are so thankful that our church has a vision for our youth and students.
I'm thankful our church has a vision for the homeless.
I am so thankful our church has a vision for welcoming people.
I'm thankful our church has a vision for preschoolers.
I'm thankful that my church has a vision for teaching biblical truth.
I'm thankful that my church has a vision that provides opportunities for every age group.
I am thankful my church has a vision for families.
I'm thankful my church has a vision for me.
This is Vision 2020.
This Vision 2020 was rooted in the establishment of our church 183 years ago, February 23rd, 1839, in a one-room building, and it was founded with a passion for sharing Christ in Spartanburg and beyond.
In 1854, when it was time to build the second house of worship, property at the corner of East Main and Dean Street was offered for free, but the church declined, saying it was too far out of town.
Yet 100 years later, in the mid-1960s, this was not only the current location of First Spartanburg, but this time, First Baptist was compelled to build after an early morning tragedy.
Fire, one of man's unconquered enemies, was discovered at about 2 o'clock in the morning. A total loss of 60 years of effort for those who called this their church home.
The church not only rebuilt the sanctuary,
but increased the seating capacity by 40%.
All to reach more people for Jesus. Every growth project of First Baptist has been rooted in the Great Commission to make disciples and reach more people for Jesus.
This was magnified at the turn of the millennium through our last building project, focused on ministering to students and the next generation. The hangar is the student center of our church. But due to the vision of that project, it has also become the worship center for our next generation service, Genesis.
This kind of visionary thinking has continually driven our church family to seek God's leadership so that the next is Holy Spirit led. This allows us to prepare greater opportunities to share Christ.
But I want you to know that when we ask God to give us a vision, I'm going to tell you what I see. I see massive amounts of young couples moving into Spartanburg. And what God is saying is, can you see what I want you as a church to be and to do? Do you see the people? And I hear God speaking to us. I've never had so much peace in my heart. I'm just driven. I just know God's telling me, giving me the greatest joy of my life. I'm in, all the way.
The growth of Spartanburg and the unchurched in Spartanburg are just two of the driving forces behind Vision 2020.
Census data shows Spartanburg County is the 5th fastest growing county in the state, growing more than 10% since 2010.
Spartanburg is growing by an average of 6,257 people a year. That's 120 people each week.
5 families a day moving into our area where thousands of new housing units were built last year.
All who need to be involved in a church that will bring them to Jesus. These families are wonderfully varied from all parts of the country and even the world.
First Baptist has a deep-rooted commitment to send more missionaries than ever around the world in 2022. But we also realize the world is coming to us.
In the years since BMW came to the area, more than 200 international companies have come to Spartanburg County, and with them, many who have never been exposed to the truth of Jesus Christ.
Many have also never encountered a Christ-centered, loving community like First Baptist Church. We are driven to be the church where everyone can invite anyone to encounter the living one, Jesus Christ.
However, our current facilities do not deliver that message to the next generation.
As early as 2016, the Church Council began seeking professional evaluations of our current buildings, old and new. Some areas are in need of renovation, some small and large-scale projects as well.
There are a couple things I wanted to share with you today. The first is just a reminder, in case you may have forgotten, of why we're at this point and why we need to embark on such an undertaking. If you remember back in October, we addressed our congregation and I shared with you that two of the biggest challenges we face is, one, a need for adequate, not makeshift, educational space, and two, the need to address our deteriorating facilities.
A couple of years ago, our church council asked us on the long-range planning team to develop a new master plan for the church. That's where we take a hard look into our current facilities and decide the needs we have both presently and well into the future.
So the long-range planning team consists of a group of men and women from all ages and stages of life. We've been meeting for several years working on this plan, and it's taken a lot of twists and turns, but through it we've seen how the Lord has been refining the plan to get it to be His master plan.
And we think we have His master plan, but we can't delay. We can't push it forward. We've got to do something now.
One thing that serving on this team has allowed me to do is gain a new perspective on unity in our church. Many times Dr. Wilton will refer to the beautiful unity that we have at First Baptist Spartanburg. And some people might think, oh, that's just a rubber stamp on something that a person has decided. But I can tell you that that's not the way it is. As a team, we have met for months and we have prayed. We have discussed and we have prayed. We have analyzed and we have prayed. We have disagreed and we have prayed. We've reevaluated and we've prayed. And we have come to consensus. We have come to unity on what Vision 2020 means for our church. And as we look at where we can join God in His plan for this community, we are to that crisis of belief that requires faith and action. And I can't wait to see where Vision 2020 allows us to join God and where He's working here in Spartanburg.
This is the plan, and it affects each side of our campus and every age group within our church.
On the east side, we begin with a wonderfully redesigned entrance at Dean Street, including a new covered drop-off and lobby.
Elevators take us up to both the sanctuary and 2 floors of senior adult life groups, featuring beautifully renovated classroom spaces with new bathrooms and gathering spaces conveniently located directly behind the sanctuary.
This renovated east entrance will facilitate Dean Street parking as the most convenient parking for our senior adults, special needs members, and guests, with a minimum amount of steps from the car to worship and small groups.
As we move to the front of our church, the vision is to replace the oldest and most deteriorating buildings with a new common hospitality area, something we've recognized as a crucial need for a long time. With a much greater focus on hospitality and circulation, the remodeled entrances and reception hall will draw visitors and members into the building in a more natural way.
The new common area will run from the new entrance at the north side of the campus and interconnect east to west, providing hospitality and gathering spaces all along the way. Just outside the glass will be an outdoor plaza, a natural spot for additional gathering where the growing amount of young professional foot traffic in our city will be drawn here to our campus.
The largest addition to Vision 2020 will be the new education building, ready for the next generation.
The first floor will house the preschool ministry, featuring state-of-the-art secure classrooms, a large group assembly, and both indoor and outdoor playgrounds.
The second floor continues with preschool ministry, classrooms, and gathering spaces, while the existing preschool building is remodeled for weekday school outreach 5 days a week.
The third floor will be dedicated to a spectacular children's area, also populated with state-of-the-art secure classrooms, a unique gathering space for events like Tool Time, and access to the outdoor playground.
A unique indoor bridge will connect the main building and the hangar with easy travel to and from children's and preschool areas to the hangar auditorium and classrooms.
The new education building displaces the gym to an exciting different location attached to the western end of the hangar.
This new hangar family center will fuel all the current recreation ministries of our church and provide fresh outreach opportunities with remarkable integration to the hangar to see this ministry grow and thrive.
The family center will also allow us to take advantage of using the Dunbar Street parking garage in a brand new way. The family center is the first logical step and an intuitive approach to our buildings. Connecting this to the hangar will allow our student, recreation, children, and family ministries to have a more focused space without having to navigate through a larger building with classrooms and ministry offices.
Drop-off points, access ramps, and intentional gathering spaces will make this a natural hangout spot for families of all ages before and after worship services and sports functions.
By uniting the old and the new on the fourth side of our church facing St. John Street, a spectacular new central entry between the outdoor playground and than the current reception hall is planned.
This will become one of the primary entrances to our church, especially for families because of its easy access to the new preschool and children's facilities.
It will also lead everyone easily into the main north to west connecting areas with gathering spaces for all ages.
Every site of our campus, bringing together new cutting-edge facilities to better reach every age in Spartanburg for Jesus.
And I'm convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is that time. This is our time. This is the time where we get an opportunity to make a lasting impact in this community and reach people for Jesus Christ, just as I was reached all that time ago. I'm thankful for the men and the women that came before us, that stepped in and accepted the call to make a difference. As I watch my kids grow up in this church, I see the fruits of that sacrifice making a real impact on our family. And now it's our turn. We have that opportunity.
Perhaps you're brand new to the First Baptist family.
Or, like the chairman of our Vision 2020 steering team, Bill Stewart, are part of 4 generations of First Baptist members.
All the buildings in our 183-year history are just tools used to bring people of all ages to Jesus.
William and Amanda, this is our future. Teddy and Parker, they've not accepted Jesus Christ yet because they're not old enough to understand really what's involved. But it's your responsibility and Amanda's responsibility to see that my father's great-grandchildren, my grandchildren, and your children have the same opportunity that we've had down through the years, and that we take them to a church that will nurture them and teach them and help them grow as Christians. Teddy and Parker, I love you both very, very much. And there's nothing more exciting for your grandmother and I to see that one day you will accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior.
Keeping the main thing the main thing.
Sharing Jesus.
Sharing Jesus.
Sharing Jesus.
Sharing Jesus.
Sharing Jesus.
Jesus.